Alright, I just saw this Harvey Weinstein video from Fox News channel. And I was reading a comment section. Harvey Weinstein said that I offered acting jobs in exchange for sex, and I agree with him. There are people in power in Hollywood. The casting couch still exists. Actually, music industry is much worse than film industry. Because I met a lot of important people in the show business. They all ask me to have sex with them, and I refused to have sex with them, and that's why I actually didn't make it. But anyway, when it comes to Harvey Weinstein, there's a lot of things I have to disagree, which is, for example, I'm reading this comment section. The truth about women choosing to engage with him for roles. Adult women making career decisions. I don't see the problems here. Consenting adults are able to do what they want. Yes, I do agree with your opinion, but there are women who doesn't know about casting couch, who didn't know about casting couch. There are women out there who get groped by someone in power. What about these teenage girls? What about child kid actresses who are like totally innocent, didn't know anything and had to go through that? You have to talk about that too, right? And so there are some comment section talking about by the way, the casting couch still exists. I still have a lot of friends living in California. They are still saying the same things. So, I'm not saying all actresses in LA are hookers and prostitutes, but even you look at music industry. I'm not rapper or anything like that, but why do you think all these female rappers, before they became famous, they are all strippers? Like 9 out of 10, actually 10 out of 10, all these female rappers or singers used to be escorts or prostitute or strippers. It does make sense, because if that's what you were doing before you became famous, it's not that difficult for you to sell your body for money or fame, I guess. But not everybody are like that. The comment section, K. Michael said, "It all makes sense now. I always thought Megan Fox was never a good actress." I do agree with that. Clearly, when you see someone who came out of nowhere, she's usually sleeping with the guy in the power. There's no doubt. Do you think I was never approached by these guys? I have. And I refuse to have sex with those people. But anyway, Banders77 said that the real victims are women that say no. Yes, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Justin Johnson said, the actual brave ones we'll never hear about. That's me. Exactly. So I do exactly understand what everybody's talking about, because there are some opportunities to check out there. They don't mind selling their soul or body to their body to the power or fame or money or whatever, but I couldn't do it. And okay, Warlock Core said, he is a scumbag. The casting couch is a very old practice. Having said that, they could have said no, but many just want to be famous and would be whatever to get there. Look at the vile acts they perform on the screen, so the guilt is 50-50. Take responsibility for one actions, just saying. I do agree with you. Yeah, but there are people out there like a 5-year-old kid. They get molested too, so what about those innocent, helpless children who are in the show business? Because the pedophile runs in the Hollywood and music industries, so you need to talk about that too. Because those children are totally innocent, And there's a comment section. Where are all these girls accusing Clooney, Pitt, DiCaprio, etc.? Oh, right. Those guys are good looking. Thumbs up, 84. 84 people thumbs up, yeah. Well, I'm not saying that hot good looking guy doesn't rape women, but if you're hot and good looking, you see a woman constantly throwing themselves at you, so you don't really need to rape women. It's usually a butt ugly dude, like someone looks like Harvey Weinstein, because he doesn't get any pussies. That's why guy like him are predator, and you don't see a guy who looks like a Brad Pitt or a prime time Magic Mike looking guy being a rapist or pedophile. You don't see a very successful basketball player who is like 7 feet tall, masculine, athletic alpha type, molesting 5-year-old little girl. Why? Because if you're tall and athletic and successful and have lots of money and career, you can get a real grown woman naturally and so easily. So usually sexual predator or rapist or pedophiles are a bunch of losers. Physically unattractive guys, like someone look like Woody Allen, and usually very short and very ugly and very physically unattractive guy. Because if you are very short and physically unattractive, you're gonna have a harder time getting a woman than a guy who is handsome and tall. You know what I mean? So, okay, a comment section. Dem671 said, why is he being blamed? He made an offer. The women can easily say no. Instead, they accept it. Then years later, they go after him. They act as if they were kidnapped and forced. Hey, guess what? I didn't go to meet him. He was following me at the grocery store, and I didn't even go to movie audition or his office or hotel room or anything like that. I was shopping on Sunset Boulevard, and this guy named Harvey Weinstein was following me for 15 minutes. So how do you explain about my situation? And I said to him multiple times, no, I'm not interested. Because he came up to me and said, you want some beer and sushi with me? And I said, who are you? Let's go sushi with me. And I was like, it's 11:30 p.m. This guy is crazy. And I was trying to ignore him. I met him at the Ralph's grocery store in the beer section. I was not buying a beer. I was trying to buy me a Fiji water. I was looking for Fiji water inside of the grocery store called Ralph's on Sunset Boulevard. And he kept following me inside the grocery store. And he was very creepy. He was like, I'm the most powerful man in Hollywood. Everybody know who I am. I'm a very famous guy. Believe me, I'm a very famous guy. Look at me, I'm a very famous guy. And I said, I don't care who are you. Leave me alone, right? Because I didn't even know who he was. But even if I knew who he was, I didn't care. I mean, I was 19. He was already like 50-something years old at the time. He was gross and disgusting. Like he's this repugnant looking guy. I mean, what kind of 19-year-old girl would go and follow a guy look like this? He's like my father's age. It's gross, right? And I was 19 and I followed by him, and he said sushi and beer with me, and I said no, and he followed me like a creepy rapist. And my instinct said to me, this guy's very weird. And he said to me, he was just weird. It's just a, female instinct. Because when you say no thank you, usually guy disappear, right? He kept following me and say, I'm the most famous guy in this town. Trust me. And I was like, who? Because I don't know you, right? And it's like, trust me, everybody knows who I am. I'm the most powerful man in this town. Look, if I pick up the phone right now, I could call any, he was saying that I could call anyone in this town, like any sushi restaurant a sushi chef would open the door for him. That's what he said. And I said, it's 11:30 p.m. What kind of sushi restaurant is open? Usually the restaurant is closed, right? It's about to close, like 11:30 p.m. That's like really late. And I was like, oh, trust me, I used to go to sushi restaurant all the time, the luxury one. I know that usually they close down around this time. And he was like, trust me, I'm staying in a hotel room right now. I'm sorry, that was my impersonation to Harvey Weinstein. I just took a shower, so my voice is like not really working. But he was like, trust me. That's how he talks, you know. He was like, I'm staying in a hotel room right now. I'm gonna order some I'm gonna order some beer. And I was like, I can't order any sushi from any restaurant. From my hotel room. Come to the hotel room. I was like, no thank you. Like, who the hell is gonna go to hotel room with a guy look like that? I just met you at the grocery store conversation. It's not normal, right? This is not a club conversation or a party conversation. I was grocery shopping. I was no makeup, wearing dusty clothes, like the regular, shirt and like nothing fancy. I was just grocery shopping, no makeup, and this guy came up to me and followed me. Right, very creepy, right? And he said to me, and I told him I don't like beer. I don't even drink beer. I'm only 19 years old. And I was like, it's okay. And I was like, I can't, I'm 19. Leave me alone, right? And what do you want to drink? I can pop up the champagne for you. I was a rich girl living in large. I don't need his money. I was a pretty affluent, and I come from an affluent family. I don't need his money. I go to sushi restaurant all the time. I go Nobu all the time. So it's like, what is this creepy guy, right? And he just kept following me like a weirdo. So I went to the cashier. I called the cashier for help. Could you please just call the security, please? Because most of our grocery store, they do have a security. And the security guy came. And when he discovered that I was talking to the security guy, he just ran away. And then when I went to parking lot, I'm telling the same story over and over, but this is very important because people don't trust, some rape accusation. But I believe those were rape accuser because he looked creepy and he looked like a pedophile. He looked like a rapist. That's why I called the security. In Ralph's grocery store, right? Because he was very weird, right? And he ended up popping out his dick after I got to my car. After I got on my car, I heard the noise. I was like, what the heck is that? When I looked at the right side, that was the same guy who was following me for 15 minutes. His name is Harvey Weinstein. He was butt naked from head to toe. No pants, no shirt, nothing. And his car door was completely open. He wanted me to see his dick or naked. Look, if you want to wank yourself, you don't need to take off your shirt, right? But what I saw is he was completely naked inside of his car, wanking. He was wearing a high socks and kind of looked like a black sandal. Like kind of looked like a fake version of Adidas sandal. Like a prime version of Gina dehydration. Should I say it? She was wearing a white high socks with a Adidas look-alike sandal. A perfect combination of unattractive dude fashion sense, right? And he was completely naked, no shirt, no pants, no underwear, wanking. Yeah, so I don't know about grocery store right now, but at the time, Ralph's grocery store, there were not so many people. There was only like 2 cars in the parking section, and they don't have any lights, so it's pretty dark outside. You can't really see, right? But then when I heard the noise, I looked at the right side, and his car was parked just right next to my car. And because I had a grocery in my both hands, I didn't look at the right side. So when I actually, after I got inside of my car, I looked at the right side. Because I heard a noise, right? And I was like, what the heck is this sound? And I looked at the right side. That's the same guy, the Harvey Weinstein, jacking off his dick. Yeah. While his car door was completely opened. So it's like he's telling me to look at my body from head to toe. I think this guy has like serious problem that maybe he feels really lonely inside, that he feels like nobody loves him, and he's really power possessed. Yeah, maybe he just really subconsciously actually knows that nobody loves him. And he probably knows that all these beautiful young girls or aspiring actresses or models and whatsoever are using him for power and money. He probably knew all these things. So maybe he's doing a revenge for beautiful girls and young, pretty... Well, I was 19 when I met him, you know. Like, why are you targeting innocent young teenage girls? And I told him I'm 19 and I'm not going hotel with you. Like, are you crazy? And because he offered me beer and sushi. And I said, I don't drink. I'm 19. Leave me alone. And he kept following me. Right? And this guy is like older than my father's age, okay? This guy is older than my father's age. Can you believe that? You get followed by a guy who is much older than your father's age. And he popped out his dick at the grocery store called Ralph's on Sunset Boulevard, Sunset and La Brea. It's the store still exists over there. It's called the Rock and Roll Ralph's grocery store. Check it out if you're LAPD. Do some research and please go to the parking lot. And I'm telling you, if you're Ralph's grocery store manager, and that's the thing that they actually hung the sign outside that whatever happened at the parking place, we are not responsible. They already hung the sign like that in Ralph's grocery store. You know, it's a chain. What does Ralph's? Ralph's is a chain supermarket in California, the most famous one. And they have a warning sign hung outside, and they say, whatever happens in the parking lot, we are not responsible. But, you know, if you really want to say that, at least try to hire a security guy or put the security camera outside the parking lot, because I never felt comfortable or safe shopping all alone at the grocery store ever again after the incident happened to me. Because can you imagine that, you know, you dress down, no makeup, and still get followed by a creepy guy? Look like this guy, okay? So I'm still traumatized by him that, you know, people likes to talk shit, like what's wrong with saying hi to women, but you need to understand that certain women get hollered or street harassment all the time. Like when I was living in LA, I get approached by like 7 to 15 guys every day. Not that I'm trying to be narcissistic or anything. It's just all these guys are just hitting on every single girls they see on the street, right? Like, because they believe that if you hit on like 100 girls, one out of 100 is going to answer your question or try to, and they will give you their number, whatever, right? So that's why they try to do street harassment and stuff. But I disagree with the street harassment. It's gross. It's a public place. Don't do it. It's creepy, you know. And you know, men says that what's wrong with saying hi? But you need to understand that there are some women out there, they get hollered, street approached all the time, right? So don't get so offended when you get rejected by women. It's not because she hates you or anything. It's more like she's just sick and tired of these guys hit on her all the time, like, you know, and harass her and chase her all the time like that. You know, in my case is I had to see this repugnant middle-aged guy whose age is much older than my father's age. He's like my grandpa's age, I guess. Popped out his dick, and I had to see him being naked and being, you know, jacking off and wanking and masturbating, pleasing himself at the public parking lot of Ralph's grocery store. So how could I not be traumatized by that? You know? And some people still think I'm crazy or paranoia, but it's actually not a paranoia if you're a survivor from sexual offender and sexual assault. I'm just saying my personal experiences, and this is very difficult for me to speak out, but, you know. And so anyone saying that, why didn't you just say no and leave? You must be a guy, you must be a man saying that. You must be a man saying that because, you know, if you're a man, you don't understand that. Let's say if you are 5 feet 8 tall, your height is 5 feet 8. If you're chased by 7 feet tall, giant black guy, okay, who wants to dig up your anus to fuck you, and followed by him for 15 minutes at the grocery store, and you said no, and what if he ends up popping out his dick right next to your car while his car doors is completely opened? You will be terrified, right? It's the same things. Man doesn't understand that because man has more power than women in general, and man, let's say, I'm not saying that man doesn't get raped by women. Things like that could happen, but it's more common for women because women are physically more vulnerable and shorter and weaker than men, you know. And that's why I do appreciate a real man like Ronan Farrow to Seth MacFarlane. Those are the real men who didn't hesitate to speak up, right? So I think that man, a real man, needs to do the whole whistleblowing to protect women in general. Does that make sense? By the way, I don't hate men. I love men. But I do love a real man. Yeah, not like rapist or sexual offender or pedophile. Does that make sense? So I'm reading this whole comment section. Sorry, I still have a thick accent when I speak in English language because English is not my first language. So if you don't or didn't understand my word, let me know. So I'm going to read another comment section. No, not 50-50 because one side is powerful and the other much weaker. Abuse of power is always more guilty than cooperating victim. Yes, I do agree with that. But there are some, typical LA chick. Because I know how LA, like a typical, stereotypical LA chick acts like, the opportunist one. Like, she doesn't mind sleeping around. And so, if you're biggest whore, Hollywood would be the greatest place to live. Because it's gonna open up the door for you. Yeah, but maybe that's why there are some, people who are so stuck and they have eyes of dead fish, or, they are snorting cocaine on the side, or drug addict or alcoholic. So many actresses are like that. Maybe because they're actually broken inside. Anyway, not that I'm saying all actresses are whores though, but there are some, and they don't mind doing that. Like some of the actresses are openly whores, you know what I mean? And they just pass down the pass down. They just pass women to a guy to guy, the guy who has the power. Anyway, so Warlock Core, how do you pay woman out of court to go away and then 20 years later she brings you up on criminal charges after taking your money? 7 people thumbs up. Well, the thing is, Harvey Weinstein is not the only person doing this. Pretty much everybody is doing this. So I was never raped by Harvey Weinstein. That's what I want to say. I was never raped or touched by Harvey Weinstein. But I have to tell you the fact that he popped up his dick and jacked off right next to my car. And I'm telling you the truth. That I had to see his, wet penis wanking and jacking off. And he's like my grandfather's age. And his car door was completely opened. And he was completely naked, which means he wanted me to see his dick. Right? Like, he's basically like a fuck you. You don't come to hotel room with me, so fuck you, right? So that's why he was wanking and jacking off. He's a power-possessed man. He's not a sex addict. Because if this was a sex addict behavior, okay? He could have purchased prostitute. He could have purchased escorts. He has all the money. And why is he targeting an innocent young teenage girl? Why was he targeting an innocent young, teenage girl like me? Because he's power possessed. Right. So it's all about power. This is not about sex addict person's behavior. He's a power possessed guy. Does that make sense? Another comment. Faultory said, "Dead fish factory, right on." And I would remember all the times that Meryl Streep was naked in bed with a man on the silver screen. She certainly wasn't whining about having to simulate sucking and fucking and being paid millions for the privilege of doing so in front of millions. 16 people thumbs up. Well, I don't know about her. I never met her, so I do not want to make a comment about her. But yeah, everybody called him a god, so he must be God for them. Everybody worship him, Noel Smith said, what about the multiple accusation of rape and sexual assault? Did you even read Salma Hayes? I don't know how to pronounce her name. Account along with everybody else? What about if you had a dream job and the only way to get it is to sleep with an old ugly woman? Or if you said no and your reputation would be tarnished to other influential people, and those are the people that consented. There is so much evidence on him from so many people to argue it is a futile. I don't know what the word stands for. Futile. Yeah, so I would say the same things. Like, people want to blame, what's wrong with saying hi to a woman? Can you imagine every time you go to grocery shopping, you have to think about not to get hit on by a guy? It's really annoying fact that not every woman needs attention all the time. I just want to go grocery shopping. I just want to sit down, have a cup of tea just like everybody. I wish I could go to Starbucks coffee and sit down on the sofa and have frappuccino or something and just relax, which is I could never do that, because if I do, there's always some random guy comes up to me and sit down right next to me and trying to have a chit-chat conversation with me, and the guy looks like a Woody Allen fucked up looking guy, right? So I have a tendency to attract a lot of creepy guys. I don't know why, but it's almost like a curse. I don't know if I should be call this whole situation a talent. I don't think it's a talent. It's a nonsense situation, but I do attract a lot of pedophile or rapist type creepy guy, in general. I guess it's something to do with me being an ethnic woman, because I look racially ambiguous and I look pretty exotic, whatever. But I'm not trying to be narcissistic, okay? I have to address that every woman go through this. It's every woman goes through this. Every woman get approached by some creepy guys all the time. Like street harassment started when I was 9, when I was only 9-year-old kid, right? I was followed by a creepy guy when I was 11. Sexually molested by a middle-aged guy. So this is nothing new to me. But I wish that men could learn something from those creepy guys. Because not every man's a bad people. Like I said, there are some men, like a good person, like Ronan Farrow, Seth MacFarlane. These are good people, and they are both men. So I don't want to give up my hope that there are good men out there try to help women to be more, better place to live and a safer place to live, And so after I met Harvey Weinstein, after all these years, I'm still traumatized and still worried about being chased by a creepy guy. So I always have to wear hoodies and sunglasses on, no makeup, every time I go shopping, anywhere I go. Yeah, men doesn't need to go through this, so they don't understand that. Like, can you imagine you go to grocery shopping and you get followed by like a chick who looks like a Susan Boyle's back crack hair? Her face looks like a Susan Boyle's back crack hair, okay? And she follows you for 15 minutes and she initiates you. Hey, I got a pussy for ya, right? And she offers you sushi and beer with you. And she's like, Susan Boyle's back crack hair. She looks like Susan Boyle's back crack hair. And when you go to the parking lot, she's tickling her pussy at the parking lot, butt naked. Sagging titties and sagging nipples and all that stuff. I mean, you don't want to see that, right? You don't want to see, you go in a public place, let's say Rosie O'Donnell and Rachel Ray and Susan Boyle, making out together in the public place, the parking lot, butt naked. I mean, who wants to see that? I'm just saying, if you know what I mean. If you're a guy, you don't want to see that, right? Do you want to see the Susan Boyle and Rosie O'Donnell having a 69 at the public parking lot? You don't want to see that, right? Oh shit, what the fuck did I just see, right? Exactly. And that what I saw is actually 50 billion times worse than that. Because like, if I have to have sex with Harvey Weinstein, I'd rather fuck Rosie O'Donnell, anus, even though I'm not lesbian. Like, Rosie is much prettier than Harvey Weinstein. Does that make sense? So, if you know what I mean. But a lot of guys do not understand this. I mean, he's not a good-looking guy. So that's the thing, that this whole thing is, this ugly dude, physically unattractive guy, he doesn't understand what no stands for. And when you say no, he's a type of guy who would follow women and harass women for 15 minutes and pop out his dick and take this dick, motherfucker. He's that type of person. And that's why he was wanking and jacking off and the milky, disgusting milky stuff was coming out of his mushroom tits, and that's what I had to see. And I had to run away, right? And people were like, how come you didn't report it? Well, I was thinking about get away the situation, and I got panicked in my head. I didn't have a cell phone with me at the time, and plus I didn't know who he was. Years later, I have discovered his name because, he was on a television taking picture, standing right next to Greenest Patrol. I was like, why the fuck this motherfucker who followed me at the grocery store taking picture with Greenest Patrol? And then realized that he was, his name is Harvey Weinstein, And then I was like, okay, I have to report the police, but who is going to believe my story? Right? And Ralph's grocery store. I'm telling you, Ralph's grocery store manager, please place lots of security camera everywhere in the parking place. Because you guys have a lot of creepy people attracting, like creepy people, they're everywhere on Sunset Boulevard, right? So they don't have a security camera in the parking place. Ralph's grocery store don't have any security camera, and there was nobody in the parking area at the time because it was really late. It was around 11:30 p.m., right? It was around 11:30 p.m., so there were not so many people. There was no other evidence, and there's no security camera. How do I report the police officer? Where is the evidence exactly? So that's why I didn't report it. But then I didn't get surprised when I see Rose McGowan accusation. I was like, okay, I know exactly what you're talking about. I don't think you're lying. They are telling the truth. Yeah, so I mean, this is disgusting. So yeah, be careful. But you see, this is the most saddest part of our American Constitution. Real bad people do not go to jail. Real bad people do not go to jail, and a lot of innocent people go in jail. This is the saddest part of American Constitution, though. Polanski didn't go to jail. Woody Allen didn't go to jail. Harvey Weinstein probably never gonna go to jail. So that's the thing. America is all about money and power. I love America, but I think America definitely should change the Constitution to be a little bit better for women to live, because like every 6 minutes, everywhere in America, somewhere in America, women are being raped, and that's the fact, right? 1 out of 6 women in America being raped. So there are so many victims out there. So that they need to change the Constitution to protect women, girls, young boys in general. Anyway, reading another comment, Thinga Mijigi said Harvey is known to have pushed forth the careers of hundreds of actresses, some of today's biggest names. His inner circle extends outside of Hollywood, includes influential names from the music industry and the politics. Oddly enough, all of them are identified as outspoken Democrats, and many of his associates are known for bringing him new talent. People thumbs up. Yeah, that's why I'm no longer a Democrat. I'm no longer a Democrat anymore. I'm not Republican. I'm like something in between. I just don't know what to trust anymore. You see the picture of Harvey Weinstein with all these politicians. Like, I don't know what to trust anymore. It just... I feel like every politicians are just bullshitter to me. I mean, come on, they have all the special people. They are able to investigate everything. I'm sure they could have investigated their fundraising person for sure. Do you think they didn't know? I'm sure they already knew, So that's why I have huge trust issues. Exactly. I do agree with you guys' opinion as well. Many things. American woman Trump train, the comment 2 weeks ago. 110 people thumbs up. And this is for Oprah and Meryl Streep defense. ? Unbelievable. Lindsay Lohan is a Harvey Weinstein advocate. Probably because Lindsay Lohan slept with him for power and money, so that she is very honest. I mean, if you actually exchange the power and the money and your pussy, then you shouldn't be on a position to make accusation. Because it's a give and take situation. Does that make sense? But I'm not talking about these women. I'm talking about real victims, real rape victims, or my thing is I didn't get raped by Harvey Weinstein, but I was visually raped by him because he jacked off in front of my face. So Kimi said sexual abuse is a circle. Not surprised Oprah gravitates towards him and pushed aspiring actresses his direction. 10 people thumbs up. Comment section. Embodiment of destruction said that, to be fair, they could have said no. He gave them all a choice. Obviously, being famous was more important to them than self-respect. They are all fucking whores. 26 people thumbs up. Well, I was never a whore. I was just grocery shopping, and he followed me. What about my case? What about my situation? I didn't go to audition to meet him. And I said no to him multiple times. He followed me. He jacked off. He popped up his dick right next to my car. So, did I have a choice? No, I didn't have a choice. I mean, how am I supposed to say it? I had to use my car, so I went to the parking lot to get on my car. And then I saw a guy that I have rejected multiple times already. Before that, he parked right next to my fucking car and waiting for me until until I got back to my car area. He was waiting for me. That's why he parked right next to my car. And he was butt naked and waiting for me like a creepy sexual predator. Yeah. So, am I a fucking whore? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I am a victim. I am the victim. Shut up. Right? So that's what you guys need to know that. So, Frank said, I believe this is common practice in Hollywood. Women do anything to become an actress. 447 people thumbs up. Yeah, I do agree with you. Like, there are some people out there, like typical LA chicks. It's not just actresses, or, dancer, or singers, or aspiring models. They all sucking dicks. They all sucking dicks, okay? No, I did not suck a dick. I refuse to suck dick. DM said fucking for movie roles isn't rape. Well, it's called opportunist. That's right. Yeah, but then, like I said, I didn't go to audition to meet him. I was followed by this creepy ass motherfucker while I was grocery shopping. Like I said many times. So what about my case? What about my situation? But I'm not talking about those like I said, casting culture does exist, and there are some actresses who are opportunists and they don't mind sleeping with those powerful guys in Hollywood and executive and producers and directors and finance people who invest millions dollars for Hollywood films. There are a lot of them actually. Like, why do you think all these foreign women, all of a sudden pop up from nowhere? She sucked a dick, period. She sucked the mushroom tits, all types of mushroom tits. She took 2 dicks in her asshole. That's why she's so successful now. So anyway, no, I'm not talking about Rose McGowan. Rose McGowan, I think she's a victim. But I'm not talking about those rape accuser. I'm not talking about these people. But there are some opportunists, usually A-list Hollywood celebrity actresses. Some of them became famous because of sleeping with some of the most powerful men in the show business. And it's been like that since day one. It's not even a secret. And its casting couch still does exist. Yeah. And that's why when I'm not going to talk about it. Okay, man, I've been talking for 46 minutes. I gotta go.